Part 1. The Quiet Girl and the Invisible Man. Olivia Bennett wasn't your typical billionaire's daughter. Sure, she had everything. Designer clothes, chauffeurs, and a last name that opened every door. But beneath her polite smile was a girl who felt strangely disconnected from the world she lived in. Every morning, she visited her father's corporate tower, Bennett Industries, a glass and steel monument to success. It was filled with executives in tailored suits, assistants rushing with coffee, and people who barely noticed the janitorial staff quietly working in the background. Among them was Marcus Johnson, a middle-aged black janitor with tired eyes and calloused hands. He moved through the hallways like a shadow, efficient, polite, and invisible. One morning, Olivia arrived early for a meeting. As she waited in the lobby, an executive in an expensive gray suit brushed past Marcus, knocking his mop bucket and spilling water across the marble floor. "Watch where you're going," the man snapped. Marcus immediately bent down, apologizing even though it wasn't his fault. But before he could finish cleaning, Olivia's voice cut through the silence. "Excuse me, sir," she said, stepping forward. "You were the one who bumped into him. Maybe you should apologize." The executive froze. Everyone nearby turned to look. Olivia Bennett, Richard Bennett's daughter, was defending the janitor. The man stammered. I I didn't mean—" "It's okay, miss," Marcus interjected quietly. "Really?" But Olivia wasn't having it. "No, Marcus. It's not okay. People deserve respect, no matter what they do." The executive mumbled an apology and hurried off. Marcus stood there, speechless. Nobody had ever stood up for him before. That was the beginning of something neither of them saw coming. Part 2. A Friendship That Raised Eyebrows. Over the next few weeks, Olivia and Marcus started talking more. During her breaks, she'd often find him cleaning the 14th floor, the floor with the best view of the city skyline. "Why do you always work up here?" she asked once. Marcus smiled faintly. "Because from here, you can almost forget you're mopping floors." "You can dream a little." Olivia laughed softly. "What do you dream about?" He paused. "I used to be an engineer. I designed structural systems for skyscrapers like this one. But when my old company went bankrupt, I lost everything. My wife got sick, and I needed fast money. This job was the only one that would take me." Olivia felt her throat tighten. He wasn't just a janitor. He was a man who'd built the kind of dreams her father's company thrived on. She started bringing him lunch, sometimes homemade. They'd sit in the break room talking about life, about ambition, about how people are more than the titles they carry. But not everyone was happy about it. Some executives whispered behind her back, "The boss's daughter hanging out with the janitor." "That's embarrassing," one even told her father, Richard Bennett. When he heard, Richard was furious. "Olivia, what are you doing?" he demanded during dinner. "You're a Bennett. You don't spend your time with employees like that." Olivia met his eyes calmly. "You mean people like Marcus?" "I mean people who clean floors for a living," Richard snapped. "You have a reputation to protect." Olivia's voice trembled, but didn't waver. "Maybe it's our reputation that needs fixing, not Marcus." Her father stared at her, stunned. He had built an empire, but for the first time his daughter made him question what kind of empire it really was. Part 3. The Hidden File. Richard tried to brush it off. "She'll grow out of this phase," he told his assistant. But late one night, curiosity got the better of him. He went into the HR database and typed Marcus Johnson. What he found left him frozen. Marcus had once been a senior structural engineer at Architect Design Group, a company known for pioneering safety technology in modern buildings. He held patents under his name, awards, a letter of recommendation from a university dean. So why was a man like that mopping floors? The next morning, Richard arrived early and found Marcus cleaning the lobby. "Marcus Johnson?" he asked. Marcus turned, surprised. "Yes, sir?" "I read your file," Richard said quietly. "You designed the stabilizing frame for the Westview Tower, didn't you?" Marcus hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, sir. But that was a long time ago. Why didn't you tell anyone?" Marcus gave a small, tired smile. "Sir, when you lose everything, people stop listening to your story. They only see the uniform you wear now." Those words hit Richard like a punch to the chest. He thought about his daughter, the way she looked at Marcus with respect, not pity. And suddenly, he saw what she had seen all along. Part 4. The $1 billion surprise. 2 weeks later, Bennett Industries was in chaos. A $1 billion project deal with a foreign company was falling apart because of a last-minute technical issue. None of the senior engineers could figure it out. The problem? A critical flaw in the building's support design, a flaw that could collapse the deal entirely. Richard sat in the boardroom, his patience running thin. That's when a quiet voice spoke from the back of the room. "Sir, if I may..." Everyone turned. It was Marcus, still in his janitor's uniform, holding a notepad. "Marcus," Richard said, "go ahead." Marcus walked to the front, his tone calm but confident. In under 5 minutes, he explained the flaw, drew a corrected design, and, shockingly, started translating a note into Mandarin for the foreign investors on the call. The room went silent. "You speak Mandarin?" one executive gasped. Marcus smiled. "Among others, 9 in total. Comes in handy when you've worked across continents." By the time he finished, the investors were smiling and nodding. The deal was back on. Bennett Industries was saved. When the meeting ended, Richard stood up and clapped. Then the entire room joined in. "Marcus," Richard said, stepping forward, "from this day forward, you're not cleaning floors. You're leading our global engineering division." Marcus's eyes filled with tears. He looked over to Olivia, who was watching from the corner, smiling proudly. Later that night, Richard sat with his daughter. "You were right," he said softly. "I thought success was measured by money. But it's measured by how you treat people." Olivia smiled. Marcus didn't need saving, Dad. He just needed someone to see him. And in that moment, Richard realized his daughter hadn't just helped a janitor. She had reminded him what being human really meant. Moral: respect doesn't come from your title. It comes from your heart. Because when you look beyond status, you often discover greatness hiding in plain sight.